Welcome to the Profit Unleashed. For those who can get a seat, grab a seat now if you can. We'll get underway. My name's Roger Phillip. I'm a director of Bramble Bay Lawyers locally here in Hastings. So we've been proudly sponsoring and supporting Profit Unleashed since the day it started. So it's awesome that we are here, and it's awesome that everyone's come along, because obviously this is what it's all about, right? It's all about networking and understanding each other and each other's businesses and what we can do for each other in our local region. So thank you all for coming. It's awesome. Just a little shout out to our firm, of course, if you don't know who we are. We've been here for a long time, since the earthquake, actually, back in about 1913, 15, ever since then, I think it was when it first started up. So we've got long reach into our local community out there in the region, as well as locally in town for all businesses. So we just want to thank you all as directors for coming along and supporting what we have. It's going to be a good night today. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with the speakers that we have lined up, we have some quite impressive people who have massive contributions in their own rights and their own areas of expertise. But I'm not going to shout down exactly what Damon and Yvonne want to say. So let's call Damon and Yvonne down now, and we can commence the evening. Thank you very much.
Sun lights up the morning, another perfect day, underneath the sunshine and the big sky of the bay. No matter what we're doing, no matter what we play, get us all together and we say, yeah, we say, come on the bay, come on the bay, black, white, all right, come on the bay, come on the bay, come on the bay.
You've actually upset Kevin Murphy saying that.
Why?
Because he wrote the lyrics to that song.
I didn't. He's a big boy, Damon. He's fine with it. And it's great. Come on the bay. It's excellently cheesy.
Well, it is
love
cheesy. It is
we
cheesy.
love it.
Yes, and I felt it was really appropriate to
Yes.
have that type of music. It's been a tough start to the year
I'm not
for
denying.
Hawke's Bay.
Not denying.
So I thought we
calm-
needed to be super parochial.
Just calm down.
No! It's really hard to, so
It's alright. Just breathe.
come on the bay.
Okay.
Yes! Bring it up! No, it is, look, we needed some good G up.
G up!
It's G up tonight. Come on the bay. We'll play it again, hopefully,
All right.
towards the end. But look, hey, a sellout crowd.
So good.
Awesome stuff. Who is a first timer?
Show of hands.
Oh, look at that.
the
Well,
virgins.
I'd say there's probably 20-30% that are first timers.
Yeah.
Sadly, I don't have enough prizes for 20-30%, so just really thank you for coming along for the first time. Hope you enjoy and hope you come back again.
Oh, look, absolutely. Good evening, Profit Unleashes. It's wild to see you all here. Absolutely. Even the virgins. What a room. Damon, you and your muscles there, you've been absolutely slaying your May and raising amazing funds for Mates for Life. Well done, you. Isn't he great? Raising funds for Mates for Life. Very good. So you've been doing that. You've been putting out your magazine. You've been doing all your governance and your PR stuff and all your work on top of that, and you've done a killer job of putting this event together.
I've been loving my wife too.
Oh, stop! Ooh.
I knew she'd shut me down on that.
So what have we got? We've got an electric vibe. We've got amazing sponsors. We've got fabulous food, boozy booze.
Oh.
Do you know it's International Chardonnay Day today? Yes. International Chardonnay Day. So everyone that's drinking Chardonnay, well done. You've got a purpose. You're all looking glossy and gorgeous, which is fantastic, and that's no mean feat when all your mates are at home in their track pants and socks. They're eating chips. They're perving at Bradley Walsh on the chase. But not you. Not you. Oh no, you guys eat Thursday nights fucking breakfast. So, I reckon we should take a quick selfie.
Really? Of everybody?
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
that's
do
a
it.
good idea.
Let's do a selfie,
You're
right?
really on your game today.
I tried to. All right, on your marks, everyone. I want you to say on the count of 3, don't buy the B&Z. 1, 2, 3.
Don't buy the B&Z. Oh. Did you see what happened there?
Do it again.
No technology skills whatsoever.
Okay, on your marks. Don't buy the B&Z. Yay!
Yay!
Boom, done. All right.
Are you finished?
Yeah, shit, that's fine.
Oh, well, I had some notes.
You
trumped
weren't
me
bringing, you
right
weren't
out.
progressing anything,
Oh, well,
so I
you
felt
know,
I
look,
need to fill the silence.
Yeah, okay. So, look, I have got a couple of things I do want to say as well before we kick on with the rest of the evening. But, hey, I do want a big shout out to every business that does sponsor these events. They are super important. As I said, I played the song Come On The Bay because we do need that at the moment. You know, we need that real good kick, that bit of energy to keep us going through what are our winter months. And so, you know, if you only look at last week, the Hawke's Bay Marathon, 81% of the people that came to Hawke's Bay were from out of town. That's a huge number. Our business next door, our studio, we pumped Saturday and Sunday thanks to tourism. Yep. So, you know, that it is super important. So those are the sort of things we need to celebrate. The other things that have happened in the out and about, BYD sales have actually gone through the roof thanks to Donald Trump, and you know, the cost of diesel. I actually went on to ChatGPT this afternoon and asked the question, what in May this time last year, what was the cost of my Toyota Prado to fill up? It was $159. Today, $264.
I'll tell you something. Back in 2020, I bought a little Citroen, and the reason I bought it is because it was diesel, $83 to fill the tank. Today, Havelock North Z, $185.
Crazy. So just quickly, a couple other things. Did you know there's a pear that is now fetching for $7 in the international market?
A what? A pear?
A pear.
Pears
How cool is that? A pear grown here in Hawke's Bay. $7.
Still don't like
That's great. Apple season, it is actually looking really promising, so that's really cool. Local government is also going to be very interesting this year, so looking forward to that. And one of our guests, 2 or 3 issues ago, has won a world title in the last week.
Yes.
Amy Fisher. Well done, Amy.
Yes, Amy Fisher. Amazing.
So that's pretty much from me. Have you got a little bit of that? Can we play that? And let's get some action going with everybody.
All together and we'll say, come on, yes, we'll say, come on the bay, come on the bay, black, white, all right, come on the bay, come on the bay,
So when we're coming on the bay,
Yes.
there is someone that we want to bring onto the stage, and we all want to get behind him and back him as he goes for his world title, hopefully later this year. And so let's crack into it.
Yeah, let's kick it in the guts, True.
Yep.
Damon. Sorry.
Austin McDougall, could you please come to the stage? He's got 5 minutes to pitch what he's up to. Come on up.
Austin.
Thank you, Dave. He does make it look very smooth runnings up here, I have to say. Like 300 people look at him. He's kind of intimidating, but we'll see how it goes. Before I begin, I would like to thank Damon and the Profit Unleashed team for this amazing opportunity to speak in front of such wonderful people. It's not often you get the chance to stand in a room and share your story, so I genuinely am grateful to be here. So thank you. And I'll try my best to keep it under 5 minutes. I'll try my best. 5 months ago, if you'd told me I'd be standing in front of a room full of business owners talking about pursuing a career in athletics, as well as throwing, I would have laughed at you, to be honest. Because not long ago, every day revolved around boxing. Now, every day revolves around shot put, discus, and trying to throw that shit really far. Now, I'm still at the very beginning of this journey, and I know becoming a professional athlete, if I'm lucky enough to do so, takes a lot of patience, sacrifice, and consistency. Now, right now, I'm focused on improving every single day, taking the opportunities as they come, and seeing how far I can go if I fully commit myself to the process. Now, my name's Austin McDougall, I'm 18 years old, and I'm from Hawke's Bay. And I'm really lucky to have such supportive parents. My mum, Vicky, and my dad, Craig, have always been in my corner no matter what I've taken on. You know, they've played such a huge role in shaping who I am, and I'm really, really grateful for that. You know, my dad, Craig, one of the things my dad has always talked about is the kind of values you carry when no one's watching. Things like honesty, loyalty, humility, and respect, but most importantly, staying true to your word. That's something that stuck with me a lot through my teenage years, and I've realised that talent or success only takes you so far if your values aren't strong enough underneath it. You know, for most of my life, boxing was my everything. I spent a lot of time training, competing, and trying to improve. And last year, I was fortunate enough to win a national youth boxing title. Now, looking back now, I'm really grateful for everything the sport has taught me, because those lessons are a big part of what's helping me chase this next opportunity. Now, late last year, I decided to hang out the boxing gloves and give shot put and discus a real crack. You know, to a lot of people in this room, it probably sounds pretty random. You know, one minute I'm boxing people and punching them in the face, and the next minute I'm spinning around in circles trying to throw implements as far as possible. But I feel like athletics go open new opportunities and new doors for me, especially through the American college system. And I know that if I wanted to find out what was possible, I needed to fully commit myself to the program. Now, since then, life has become pretty simple. I wake up, I go to work, I train, and I eat a ridiculous amount of food in between every day. And then I do it all again the next day. And as Coach Mark always says, just trust the process, it's just a few sleeps away. Now, I'm currently working as a teacher aide at Ever Park School in Hastings, and I love it. The hours are perfect for my training, with a 2:30 finish each day. And I'm learning a lot there also. One of the things I'm learning is sign language. And again, I do love it. I want to acknowledge how supportive and welcoming that school has been and how lucky I am to work alongside such an incredible team. Now, things have moved quicker than I'm expected, to be honest. In December last year, I was placed 6th and 7th in the National Secondary Schools Championships. And then a few months later, I was lucky enough to win a New Zealand Under-20 discus title, which also qualified me for the World Under-20 Athletics Championships later this year in Oregon. And a week later, I also qualified in shot put, which was pretty special too. But even with that, I still feel like I'm only at the very beginning of this journey, and I'm still learning a lot about the sport every single day. There's so many things I want to improve on, whether it's technically or physically, and I'm excited about what the process looks like over the next couple of years. You know, right now, my goal over the next 12-ish months is to earn a scholarship to a Division I university in America. That's the goal as of now, to compete against high-level athletes, learn from experienced coaches, and put myself in an environment where I can keep growing both as an athlete and as a person itself. Now, long term, I'd love the opportunity to become a full-time professional athlete and compete on the world stage at the Commonwealth and Olympic Games. I also want to represent Hawke's Bay and New Zealand proudly. But no matter where the sport takes me, I want to stay grounded in the values that I was raised with. I think that matters way more than people realise. They shape the way you train, the way you treat people, the way you respond when things aren't going well, and the kind of people you choose to surround yourself with. Now, for me, that applies to everything, whether it's my family, my close friends, my coach, my mentor, or the sponsors and supporters who choose to back me one day. And I want to surround myself with people who genuinely care, who are loyal, who think long-term, and who push other people around them to improve. Values are what keeps you disciplined and consistent when things just aren't going well. Now, I know I'm still at the very beginning of this journey, as I said before, and I've got a lot to learn, a lot of work ahead of me, and a long, long way to go. But I'm excited to see where this journey can take me if I keep putting the work in and keep the right people around me. At the end of the day, I can't do this on my own, although it's an individual sport. So the real question for you guys is, who's in on this journey with me? Thank you very much.
How impressive is someone like this? You know, I met Austin, well, actually, he was at the same primary school as our children, but I had a catch up with him about 2 months ago here before he headed off to Auckland to compete and smash it out of the park. And super, super impressive. And so we thought, well, how do we create these types of opportunities to give these guys that next step forward? And fortunately, a trust that I belong to, or that I'm part of, the Jared Cunningham Youth Sport Trust, which was set up by Jared Cunningham after Jared's passing about 15, 16 years ago to support youth in sport, that we're able to give contributions. So we're putting forward $2,000 to your campaign, and we wish you all the best. We hope others join.
Thank you, guys.
Excellent. it's time.
It is. Just a couple of things.
Oh, okay.
We have 5 seats in the front row. It's like
Yeah.
people are worried that we're going to throw something at them. I can
We're
tell
not.
you where the
But we
stage
might.
part is it's about an hour 15.
Yeah, come
Those
on,
seats
see.
are prime seats for somebody. If you want, there's one. We've sold
Okay,
one.
another forward,
That's
another forward,
that's
another forward,
$250.
another
Austin, that's $250.
Excellent, we got one. We're going
Good, we've got 250.
Another three,
Another.
3.
What are you? 250. 250. 500.
3 seats, 3 to go. 3 seats.
Come on.
If anyone's got
Going
a dicky
fast.
knee, you know,
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
inflamed hip or anything, there you go. Very good.
Another 2 more.
DOS seats.
Oh,
left.
oh,
Here we
look
go.
at this. Here we go.
Great.
Oh,
Oh, no, seat
Jack
left.
from Sotheby, she's a bit lame, so she does need to sit. She actually,
She's
that is
not
an
lame.
injury. That is an injury from going to a concert in Auckland.
She's not late, she's super cool.
There you
one
go.
more seat.
One more
Who's
seat,
brave
Craig.
enough?
He's coming, Craig.
All right.
Austin's dad's coming. He's going to sit there. Right, very good. Now the other thing, sorry, bathrooms are just
Oh,
over
yes.
there to the left. Okay. And I think we're pretty good
Yeah,
to
we're
go.
good. It's
We're ready
time.
to go.
Yeah, it's time to bring in
Yep.
the stars of
Yep.
the evening, the
Yep.
real stars,
Yep.
our speakers.
Yep.
And whenever I'm standing in front of 200 and something of Hawke's Bay's best and brightest business people, I like to loosen the mood with a limerick. There once was a girl from Rorica, brainy of brain and fleet of sneaker. From the Financial Times to Washington Post crimes, she leaves evil dictators weaker. Now, Damon likes me to keep my intros brief, but this time he can get knotted because from her first job at a tiny Whakatane newspaper in the 90s to hustling her way to a foreign correspondent career at the Financial Times in London at the age of 24, being posted to Seoul during North Korea's first nuclear test, covering the Middle East during the President Bush years, and being a Washington DC correspondent during the Obama years, our next speaker had an unslakable thirst for breaking the big stories. She became Tokyo bureau chief of the Washington Post. Oh, don't reveal it before I
That's
said
all
it.
right. You need to get her face up.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
You know, I said keep it short.
Fine. I'll keep going. Totally stolen my mood now. She became Tokyo bureau chief of the Washington Post in 2014, and in 2016 she became the first person in the world to go live on Facebook from inside North Korea. Yeah. So while the rest of us were busy posting fucking photos of our eggs Benedict at brunch, this news ninja was live streaming from Pyongyang. In 2018, she pulled off the kind of scoop that makes other journalists slit their wrists with jealousy. An exclusive interview with Kim Jong Un's auntie, shedding light on the world's most secretive dictatorship, which formed the basis for her bestseller, The Great Successor, The Secret Rise and Rule of Kim Jong Un, a very unauthorised biography of one of the world's most dangerous leaders, and he's pissed about it too. She was awarded the Shorenstein Journalism Award from Stanford, and she also is a Nieman Fellow at Harvard. She came home to become the editor of the Dom Post and was also named a Kia World Class New Zealander, which is fitting, because the Kia is famously intelligent, destructive of anything that tries to contain it, and deeply misunderstood by the people who've only seen it from a distance. Anyway, today she is totally independent, writing the Between Giants Substack newsletter, which is the best fucking $15 you'll spend every month, I'll tell you that for $1, as well as the World Bulletin for the Spin-Off. She's a regular voice on RNZ and a non-resident fellow at the Centre for Strategic and International Studies in Washington. And if all that doesn't make you feel completely inadequate, she also runs marathons. And, like me, she's a fellow Hastings Girls High geek. Kina! Ladies and gentlemen, the world's foremost chronicler of closed societies, international crises and global disorder, Anna Fifield!
Reminiscing about the happy tab just there, I think. With that song.
Stop it, we were so.
How about that? Grab a seat.
Sitting down,
Thank
mother.
you, yes.
Hey,
Yeah, whatever.
That's it.
Yeah, but
That is
she deserves.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay. I now feel inadequate with what I...
No, you're not, because this guy is going to
he's going to blast everybody away, absolutely. Hey, and I'm actually not really going to use much of the script apart from, so I've been trying to get Charlie on the stage for 7 events. Every time I've emailed him or texted him or whatever, he's been around the world somewhere as being a rock star, as he can be. And most of the time it's been in Nashville, and he said, yeah, look, I'm really keen to do it, but blah, blah, blah. But then I've spoken to other people who said, nah, he won't do it. Literally about 2 months ago, I didn't actually ask him for this to come to this event. He reached out to me and he said, hey, I'm around for the next 3 or so months. If you're keen, I'm keen too. Let's do it. So I went, yes, this is awesome. So the first time I met Charlie, I was doing a story on him in The Prophet 2018. And he was living just above Church Road at the time. And he said, I'll come to my house and let's catch up and we'll do the interview. Seriously, I thought I was driving into the Hollywood Hills. It was just like, I knew this guy was a rock star. This was pretty incredible. Driving in the Hollywood Hills, Foo Fighters, that's the sort of stuff that was running through my head. I pull into the driveway, there's a basketball net, hoop, blah, blah, blah. Go inside, and he's sitting there on a table, at the kitchen table. I think he just had jeans on. I don't actually think he had a top on at the time. And he's sitting there, and there was another dude sitting there as well, and rah-de-rah, I wasn't sure how this was going to go. Anyway, sat down, started interviewing him, did the interview, and then he said, come and have a look at my studio. Oh, yeah, sweet, let's go over to the studio. Went through the house, through the garage, which I feel was similar size to this, about 5 cars, all sports cars, all this sort of stuff, lined up, looked at them, went into a studio, which again felt a similar size to this, sat there and then listened to, we were chatting away and there's a guy just playing on the drums, going hammer for tong on these drums, and I said, oh man, this is just absolute heaven for me. I was just loving life. And then he played me one of his songs and I said, oh, this is incredible. So anyway, fast forward to get back in the car, drive home, and I feel sorry for my children and my wife, but I pulled them into the lounge, went onto YouTube, found the clip, cranked up the music and said, this is the guy I've just met. He's incredible, da-da-da-da-da. And look, he has got a fantastic story, and we're going to hear that story this evening. So, without further ado, here he is. Let's welcome down Charlie Wallace. Woo-hoo! you can literally...
Okay, how many of you are now pregnant?
Literally, hey, there's your $80 there for buying a ticket to the event. Seriously, now you can see why. 7 events. Well done, Charlie. That's awesome, mate. Give him a big round. Give him and Emma a huge round of applause, please. Right, we're into it.
Yes.
Oh.
That's your portion.
Oh, that was incredible, wasn't it?
Where am I sitting?
You can just sit there, mate. You can sit there. I'll sit here. We're ready to go, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, you're ready to go.
Where's that microphone, that blue thing? Can you
It's
us
here.
that? Yeah, can I have that, please?
Sure.
Right, thank you. Who's got a question from the audience straight off the bat? Come on, anybody?
Anyone got a quick question?
Anyone got a quick question
Anna
for
or
these
Charlie
guys?
before we kick things off? Because normally we do this at the end.
Oh, here he is.
You won't play for New Zealand.
So many times. There's only one question that needs to be asked. When are you playing in fucking Hawke's Bay next time?
Oh, look. He's got the T-shirt on. That's my trigger.
That's his band.
Well, the focus right now is on recording, so I'll let you know, but we'll definitely be selling you a very expensive ticket because you sound very keen.
Love it.
Right, okay, we're going to throw this around during the night as well, the speaker, just the microphone. But Anna, there you are.
Oh.
Incredible journey that you've had.
Yes, a smorgasbord of shots. So Hastings Girls High to the Washington Post.
Head of Tongue Intermediate, that's right.
Oh, yeah. Hastings Intermediate was better, by the way.
That's Rarotonga forever.
When did you think, I'm sorry about the feedback, the buzziness, I'm not quite sure what's in there. When did you think journalism was going to be your thing, Anna?
First of all, I've got to say it's so amazing to be back in Hastings, my tūranga waiwai. I haven't been here much the past few years, and I drove around tonight. I was really shocked that I could not get a park right outside, because that was the Hastings I remembered. It looked like it's buzzing, and it's really terrific.
Someone should
to be
take that
here.
to council.
And especially nice to think that tomorrow I might go for a swim in the sea and not have to worry about the poo in the water.
No poo in our
Coming from Wellington. It's a treat. But journalism, so when I was at Hastings Girls High School, journalism was a subject in sixth form with Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown.
Mrs. Brown, I'm still in touch with her to this day. And I took that class, I loved it so much, and if I was a better organised person, I would bring you my copy of Arkina, which I still have to this day, which is my first ever front page story, was when Waimarama Tamonu, the netballer, came to Hastings, and I wrote the story about her. So that was my first big scoop.
Fantastic. And so Mrs. Brown was your mentor?
Mrs. Simonson was really my mentor, English teacher the whole way
She
through.
was
Still in
savage.
touch with her as well, yeah. But Mrs. Brown was my journalism teacher. So
Were you a
there you
Hawke's
go.
Bay Herald Tribune fan of the time?
I'm not as cool as Charlie. We already established that on the way in, okay? So I have nothing to prove here. But I do remember, yes, I used to read the Hawke's Bay Herald Tribune on the living room floor in Gordon Road, where I grew up. But I distinctly remember when I was about 8 or 9, coming to this very building and doing a classroom tour and seeing them laying out. This is how old I am. They laid out the headlines and things and metal type with hot lead and put them on the printing presses. So yes, I was a the Hawke's Bay Herald Tribune reader from the get-go.
Got another question for her?
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like when you think about, doing journalism at Hastings Girls High, great school by the way.
Yeah. Yvonne was the head girl when I was in fifth form, and she was...
Something went wrong,
Don't
really. When you look at the two of them.
she was so cool. She had this crazy hairdo, and she had cherry docks before they were a thing. And if you had have told 15-year-old Anna that I would be on the stage with you, I would have been like, oh, I'm nowhere near cool enough.
Well, I was a hairdresser's model for Philip Hunt Hair Design down on Queen Street. Anyone remember Philip Hunt Hair Design, right? So I was a model, and so he would, after school, did you work there? Yeah. No, but you went there. Anyway, so great. And I would go there after school and he would do stuff to my hair, and every day I'd arrive at school and there'd be one of my classmates, Megan, would sing this song. She'd go, all the leaves are brown, 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 and Yvonne's hair is magenta. Or it was a time.
It was.
Yeah, the teachers did not like it. Still. Anyhow, how do you go from being, you know, in a small newspaper in Whakatane to suddenly being at the Financial Times?
Yeah, I mean, I'd always been really curious about the world, just to really solidify that I'm the least cool person on the stage. I had, when everybody else had like Robert Smith or Jason Donovan or whatever on their bedroom walls, I had posters from the House of Travel or something like that of German castles or like Paris scenes, and I was always dreaming of going abroad. And I always wanted to be a foreign correspondent. Some people in the room are old enough to remember Cameron Bennett and Liam Giori running around on TV, and I just thought, what an incredible job. You get to go to all these far-flung places and be really nosy and ask people questions. So that's what I wanted to do. But I think I was just always making opportunities for myself. So I was in Whakatane branch office, worked my way up to Rotorua Daily Post main office.
Big time.
Then went to the Press Association in Wellington, and then I won this like 3-month fellowship to go to London, and being a cheeky person, I'd met somebody who used to work at the FT, and I asked him to get me in the door.
Was that Rod Oram?
Rod Oram, yes.
The late Rod Oram.
Yeah, 2 years ago, last month actually, that he died. So he was an incredible, generous, kind person. He got me through the door, and I volunteered for reporting trips on Sundays and holiday weekends when no one else wanted to work, and just kind of made my own adventure, I guess.
Cool.
So we've actually gone off piste already, Yvonne, but anyway, because we were going to talk about these photos, but we will come back to this a little bit later. That's okay. That's okay. No, let's keep moving.
Can I just say though, when
Yes.
when I launched my Substack newsletter recently, I published that top one in North Korea on my thing, and my son, who's 15, said to me, "Mum, no offence, but you look like the nerd from a TV drama, TV sitcom. I do look a bit like Velma or something there." It's
It's
true.
a bit unfair.
I think it's true, but anyway, the nerd always wins, right? So why not?
Right.
Anyway,
So,
thank you, Anna.
as I said, we have gone off piste a little bit.
Sorry,
This
Anna.
next bit is another bit of Charlie. So Charlie has put together this little bit of a mashup of, so they do some incredible music videos, these guys. He's made truckloads of money, so he can actually do that. But, anyway, so this one, there's a couple that are mashed up here. One is of him jumping off Sky Tower. So let's have a quick look at this. So a couple of things. What's it like to actually finally make it onto the stage, mate? You know, this is the biggest stage you've obviously played into.
Well, you know, what can I say? It's
You can see why I keep pushing you.
It's a pleasure to be here. It is actually a pleasure to be here, to be honest with you. I mean, like, you know, I've done lots of speaking in places around the world, but never actually in Hawke's Bay. So it's good to be here.
Yay.
Pretty cool. Now tell us just a little bit about those videos. And the first one was actually done, I think, prior to 2018, because that's when I caught up with you, and that's when I saw where you're all immersed in water and rah-de-rah. And the last one was jumping off Sky City, which is more recent. Did you literally jump off the tower?
Yeah, well, I mean, my band loved me for coming up with these ideas, as you can tell. Because, for instance, we had the song called Caught in the Undertow, and we were in Nashville recording, and I said to everybody, like, hey, just go to your rooms and let's just have a brainstorm about what we could do for the music video. And then I go and I sit down, and then like it just hits me. I walk out, I'm like, guys, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play underwater. And they were like, what? And I was like, no, like seriously, what, like we can train to hold our breath for minutes at a time. And they were like, that sounds not, how will we stay at the bottom? I was like, we could put like weight belts underneath our clothes, you know, like, and they were like, that sounds like you're trying to kill us. and so, somehow I convinced them that it was a good idea. I also, we had to obviously get a video crew, in on it as well. And then so once we got the director, I told him what I wanted to do. I said, we're going to play at a beach. It's going to be horrible weather. It's going to be cold. And the waves are going to envelop us. And then we're going to be playing completely underwater. And he was like, I think let's like pull it back a little bit, you know. And then I just said the one line that seems to help me get whatever I want whenever I want it, which is, oh, it's okay, if you can't help us do it, I'll find someone who will. And so yeah, we literally got the band to train for cold exposure and to hold our breath for minutes at a time. And we filmed the underwater scenes in a helicopter crash testing pool in Auckland. And so it was like 2.6 meters deep, and we had like to learn how to scuba dive on that day.
So oh my God, so you're basically like the Navy SEALs.
Pretty much, yeah.
We've got an 8-degree cold pool just for
Yeah.
grab your guitar and let's go for it.
Exactly. And then so with that, it was, I love challenges, so it was a good challenge, you know. But it was, you know, kind of slightly terrifying as well, because it's like, you're at the bottom of this pool, like, you're stuck down there because of the weight under your weight belt. Like, it was not legal, you know, like, we didn't clear it with anybody. And then, scuba divers giving you air, and then when you're ready, you just kind of point, and then we had the music playing in the water, and then go to, he swims off, and then just start playing along. Now, because, there was a lot to this, that the director said, okay, Charlie, this is your stupid idea, you can go first. And I'm like, yeah, sweet. And we actually originally planned for the scuba diver to swim over when we needed air, and then we'd, do this thing that flushes all the water out, and then you breathe through the regulator and everything. So that's what we tried. And I'm like, okay, I need some air now, like, hey, like, about like, for instance, where you are, sir, in the suit, and I'm just waiting for you to swim to me. And I don't know if you've ever waited for someone to swim to you, but it takes a long time. And then so by the time he arrived, I'm just like, I fucking need some air, I put the thing in my mouth, and I'm just like, it ended up taking in like all this water. And then so I like push off the bottom, and then he's trying to push me, I get to the top, and they bring me to the side, and I'm like coughing and spluttering, and I can't get anything, like I can't even
So
talk.
essentially not a great idea.
It gets better.
Okay.
And because I'm thinking, I can't let the rest of the band know how terrified I am right now. Or else there's no way that they're going down. And then so I just was thinking, think of something, and I was like, right, here's what we'll do. We'll go down, and then when we need air, we'll just go up. And then so they were throwing us, one of those little lifesaver things, and then so we got that done, and that was incredible, and that video, along with the song, ended up getting us a lot of opportunities, like our management in the US and stuff. And then when we released the new album, we had a song called The Way Down. And I was like, okay. And I kind of like the music videos that it calls for it, like kind of being a piss take of the title. A song caught in the undertow, and we're filming underwater, The Way Down. Where's the tallest building I could think of that we could jump off? And I was like, hey, Sky's has already got all the harnesses and everything. Surely they'll do it. And somehow they said yes. And then we were like, okay. And then I was talking to the guy, and I was like, so how much is this going to cost us? And he was like, no, it's just a really cool idea. just have it. And it's just like, okay.
So did it cost you anything?
No, for the safety crew.
Apart from
For the safety crew, we had to pay the safety crew, but they let us run through that frickin' thing like for 3 days. They gave us like, there's two sides, the bar and the casino. They gave us like a whole side of the bar. We were like spilling drinks, getting behind the bar, doing all sorts of stuff for this video. It was outrageous. Because
it wasn't just jumping off the tower; they were literally running the whole way through the casino and all sorts of stuff. So look, we need to pivot. We need to
get back on track.
We need to get back on track to round one, and it does start back with you anyway, Charlie. For the audience, give us just your story. you were working in a supermarket from memory in some way or other, and you had this dream of what you wanted to be able to do. Just run us through how this all came about.
That sounds like a better story. So
Was it the deli or the bakery or the
what were you doing?
No, I was a janitor at a supermarket.
Yeah.
You know, like
Which supermarket?
Woolworths, I guess. Yeah.
But you had a dream.
I had a dream. Yeah. So I think what you're referring to is. So I left school pretty early. I left school when I was 15, and then I was working at the Music Machine, on Hastings Street.
Great shop.
And one time I was the band we'd won this thing to go and play some shows in Europe, and then which was fantastic for a 21-year-old kid just to go and effectively have a holiday, because we were promised a lot, and then like a lot of things in the music industry, you do get promised a lot, and then you get there and they're like, oh yeah, we forgot to put the advertising thing, just that part, out, so you're not going to be playing to many people tonight. So okay, but we got a great holiday. It was awesome. But then I arrived back to New Zealand, and then I distinctly remember being living on Milton Road and then going down to the supermarket because I had to do something because I didn't have any food. And I remember that I needed food for me and my girlfriend at the time, food for the cats, toilet paper, and petrol, because I didn't have enough petrol, I didn't think, to kind of make it a two-way trip. And I also didn't look in my wallet because I was like, I know that it's not going to be a good thing, so I'll just wait till I get there. And then so I remember the distinct moment of standing in Pack and Save and opening my wallet and seeing $2.40 in there and going, this is not going to work on a large spectrum of things. Like, if I want to have my musical dreams come true, then I cannot do this starving artist kind of life. And then so it was just this moment that I just decided, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck it takes to make sure that I do everything right by what I want to achieve. And so I got cat food because I thought that the cats didn't deserve to know how poor I was.
And the cat will eat you. Cat
exactly.
Literally.
Yeah. And
if you don't feed it.
And then I knew that if I drove the car a certain way, I might lose a little bit of momentum as I go around the corner as I go up the hill, but I knew exactly how. So that was the real pivot point for me, where I decided to change everything.
Right. So what changed? What did you do?
Did you just think to yourself, I'm pretty flash at playing guitar, and maybe I can teach other people, and the's this thing called the internet?
Honestly, I just thought if I could find a way to get some pure Colombian cocaine into the country.
As you do.
I could make a lot
rock
of
star.
We've all been there, come on.
I went down that route and couldn't find a reasonable source. So what I decided to do instead was that I had...
went to a tinny house somewhere.
Yeah. Well, years earlier, when I was first starting to play guitar, my mum was at home, and she was, remember when the household just used to have one computer, and it was on dial-up internet, and she was on the computer, she was complaining about spam email, and I was like, what's spam email? And I'm about 13 at the time, and she's like, well, people send emails and they make money from it, and it's just really annoying. I was like, So then when she left for work, I'm like, how to make money with spam email? And then I realized two things that day. That spam email was bad, you shouldn't do it, and there are legitimate ways to make money. And then so at that point, I started, I'd done a whole bunch of guitar exercises, and then so that had worked really well for me. I ended up putting that into an ebook, and I released that. And so I had made a little bit of money from online, and then so at this moment I was like, well, that works. What if I did it 10 times better and in video? And then so that's what led me to create Guitar Mastery Method.
Which has now gone on 2 million people have actually been trained by you guys virtually.
2 million people in the world, which is outrageous, because it's one in, I can't remember. The math, people have calculators here. If you do the math, it's pretty
which we're
outrageous.
not good at, which is why we're on stage doing this bullshit. So,
but effectively, once you look at the people who have ever even attempted to play guitar, which is about 10% of people in the Western world, we've reached about 1 out of every 18 people.
When was it a serious business, though? When did it
It's not a fucking serious business.
No. It was making you money. So when did it start becoming? Well, actually, I can get the cat food.
Well, I mean, of course, it took a lot longer than I anticipated. Like anything worthwhile doing, there's always an extreme lag, And then so I just worked for 3 years because at the time I was, working at Music Machine. I was teaching guitar lessons. I was teaching guitar lessons at school. I was doing promotional work for the Cabana and trying to build the business on top, while also trying to smoke as much marijuana as I could. And, so there's a lot of things going on at once. A lot of different priorities. And then so I ended up releasing it officially in 2014, August of 2014. And I had a little bit of an email list from the previous thing that I'd released. 2014 we did, at the point it was just me, I did about $15,000 in 2014. 2015 did like 100,000, 2016 did 150,000, and then 2017 went to 1.5 million, and then after that it kept on just stacking up, and then so to date we've sold about $55 million of guitar lessons.
Huge. So thinking about, is it okay for Kim?
We're now pivoting. Yes.
We're pivoting?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. We're now on round 2.
We're okay,
Yeah.
we're on, wait.
Yeah. It's actually me to ask the question too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. To
Is
Anna.
it really?
Yeah, it is.
Is it your go again?
Yeah, it is. It
Oh.
is. Yeah.
Okay,
So Anna,
fine.
your turn after all of that. Can you play the guitar?
I cannot.
Maybe later. So 2 decades, I've been in journalism, some amazing publications, Financial Times, Washington Post and stuff. Was there one story in those early days that really was the trajectory for you, that you really resonated, that you wanted to, I'm super hungry for this, I love the deadlines, I love the big stories. What was it for you?
Yeah, it's hard to think of a specific moment. I think, I always knew I wanted to be a foreign correspondent, and that was what I was aiming for. So when I got offered the chance to move to South Korea, I jumped at it. I had never been anywhere in Asia. I'd never eaten kimchi. I didn't know how to say hello in Korean, but I knew that was my big break. So I just went there and worked like crazy and tried to just prove myself as a versatile reporter doing lots of things. And that was a time when South Korea, there was no K-pop, and it wasn't cool yet. You couldn't buy deodorant in South Korea.
So no
Smelly place.
None of the skincare Korea before it was cool, yeah. But I think the moment that really struck me was, the first time I went to North Korea, I went in for 2 weeks on the train, and that was really unusual. I think it was because I was a New Zealander, and that all the American journalists couldn't get in at all. They wouldn't let anybody with Korean heritage, but there I was, the girl with the friendly passport, and they let me go in for 2 weeks, and it just opened my world, I think, to see, that I could go and do reporting on the ground in these kind of places. And I was in this huge square on Liberation Day, is what they call it, August the 15th, with all these fireworks going off and Kim Jong Un up in the stands and the goose-stepping soldiers and all that stuff that you see on TV. And I just thought, how did I end up here, and how lucky I am to be able to witness this and write about this and go to places that most people will never go. And so I think that's what really got me hooked, and especially on going to far-flung places and bearing that kind of responsibility as a reporter as well, to reflect the place and tell the story and try and be fair about things.
Was it your drug? I mean, we've talked,
that was my
Charlie's
drug.
like,
Yeah, and I, because I kept going all of these places and kept looking for new ways to tell the story, and when I couldn't get into North Korea, going to China and finding defectors and just finding different ways to tell that story. And especially when we think about North Korea, right, we think of like the fat punk who runs the place with the nuclear weapons, and we don't think about the people, like the 26 million people of North Korea who are trapped in there and can't leave. And can't speak their mind. So I really wanted to try to tell the story of the human beings who are there, who are not brainwashed, who are not robots. They all know that the story is the system is a complete crock, but there is no way to dissent in North Korea. There's not even any graffiti in North Korea. There's nothing that you can do to stand up against the regime. So I really wanted to try and put a human face on some of those people and tell the stories that they, just like us, are people trying to make sure their kids get a good education, put some food on the table, give their kids a better life than we had. So I think it's really easy, and especially at the moment with everything that Trump says about China or Iran or all these places, to other them and to think that these people, have all got horns growing out of their heads or something like that. But they don't. They're the victims of these regimes as well. So I think that was a big breakthrough.
Yeah. Thank you. I'm going to move to, should we go to round three?
Yep.
Let's bring to round three, because I have my question, just to carry on from that, is you've reported from conflict zones, authoritarian regimes, some of the most, like you were just saying, some of the most closed countries on earth, and what is the thing that's tested you the most? Like, was there anything in any of those territories that made you physically, mentally just think, I can't do this, this is too much for me? Anything that really tested you?
That's a great question. I think there were a lot of trying times in those situations. I haven't been in any really dangerous. Actually, hold on. When I think about it, I haven't been in a lot of situations. I've always abided by the kind of school of thought where you should, no story is worth your life, and so being a little bit conservative on those fronts. But the thing that made me pause then was I did interview the leader of Hezbollah, the Lebanese militia.
Okay, did you have tea and scones?
No, it was in the southern suburbs of Beirut. It was under such. These are the guys that Bibi Netanyahu is now killing with the drone strikes and things. So the security was very tight. So I had to report to the Hezbollah headquarters where they took my phone off me and things, and I was blindfolded and had a hood put on me and driven in a van through the streets, a dark van through the streets of Beirut, and pulled up at somebody's door, put inside. So to this day, I still don't know where the interview took place.
Wow.
But I'm here, I got out, I got the story, everything went well.
You savage.
Last year more journalists died than any other, so there are a lot of journalists out there doing very, very brave things to tell the story. That's really nothing compared to what they do. And especially, I'm a foreigner, I get to go in and have a degree of privilege in these places. But if you're a Chinese reporter working for a Western organisation or a Palestinian in Gaza, you don't get to leave or opt out of that. So my hat goes off to them.
Wow. Our hat goes off to you. That's just, oh my God. I've got
Charlie,
shivers.
tell us about, back to those early days, how, and you were going online, and dial-up and all of those sort of things. What was that experience like, waiting for that first ever online customer in some way or other? I think you said to me years ago, like it was ticking over midnight or whatever it was, you're waiting for that first one. What was the experience?
Well, I think that the biggest thing was, because I can't remember the experience of my first customer for the first thing that I released, because that was I probably killed those brain cells, but I do remember the one for 2014, and then so at that point, like I mentioned earlier, I'd spent 3 years getting the product ready for release, and it was. And originally I thought I was making a guitar course. I didn't realise that I was making a company, so I called the guitar course Guitar Mastery Method. And I'd spent 3 years doing it, and then it was like, releasing it, done this whole pre-launch thing, and releasing it, 10 a.m. Eastern time in the US, and then so I was sleeping on a broken fold-out couch, and then I had my clock, alarm clock set, and then the alarm clock goes off, I roll over, and I hit the button to go live, and I was just like, okay, let's see if this works. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, refresh, and I'm like, okay, this is probably not good for my mental sanity. I sent out an email to everybody who had said that they were interested in it, and then I thought, okay, just go outside and just take a breath. It was extremely early, here, and so I go outside and I'm just like, maybe I've just wasted 3 years of my life working on this, It's okay, we'll figure it out, okay. Just go back inside. And as I go back inside, it only been 17 minutes, but I hit refresh and there'd been one sale for $47. And that was like the biggest $47 that I've ever experienced. I was just like, even if we just stopped there, just that one customer, I was like, oh, thank God, this is worth it.
Who were they? Where were they from?
Damon Harvey.
The course didn't work.
It did not work.
I don't know if that's my problem or your reputation, but you know, either way, I do have a higher tier coaching program for you.
System. You then pivoted, or you went across to, you've created your own band as well. Was that always part of it? You know, that you wanted to create the business, and that you also wanted to have the fun of a band and wrap around with your friends as well?
Absolutely.
Was that it?
I mean, you know, the thing with the music industry, which is really fascinating, is that like most males, everybody wants to be a rock star. Or at some point wanted to. Now, what is really interesting, what I've experienced, and you still got this, I can't wait to hear on that later. Yeah. One of the things is that, you know, what I find, and this is just kind of, you know, probably pulling back the curtain a little bit, there's a lot of sadness in the music industry, because you're either on stage doing it, or it's plan B. A lot of people are, you know, for instance, you know, the roadies and stuff like that, you get them like a couple of beers deep, and man.
So I'm going to jump in there, because we're going to change to the next part of the show. What have we got there?
Nothing.
Hawke's Bay X Factor. You guys are the judges.
Okay.
All right.
The guitars are being handed out to the audience. I spent 3 hours last night blowing these things up, all right? So you guys are going to play them. There you go. Hand them out. There's a few more.
Oh, right, 2 ladies.
Right, there's some more. Girls. Right.
Oh, this is going to be good.
So everybody that's got a guitar, I want you to come and stand here, please. Over here, hurry. You've got to do this pretty quickly. So this is the Hawke's Bay X Factor Air Guitar Championships.
So everyone with a guitar?
Yeah, that's good.
Alright.
That I blew up last night. Come on. Oh, he's got one. Come on, hurry up, hurry up.
Over there. Guitarist.
Oh yes, Daniel Betty. Yeah,
Betty.
we see the winner.
Right.
Who's on video?
We've got the photographer, got the video. Right, so Anna and Charlie are the judges. There's only one winner.
One winner.
One winner. There's about a 20-30 second track, so pretty much. Okay, are we all there? Are we all, come on, there's one, 2 more. Oh, John,
Yes.
John's got one. Bevan, Bryce, come on.
Come
Go.
on.
Come on, up you go. Yeah, guitar.
Yes,
Yeah, guitar.
air guitar.
One more, come on.
Matthew Allen. You can air guitar with the best
Come on.
one. That's what they teach them at Hero Workers, how to do it. No? Okay.
Right, are we ready? So, Sophie's going to play the track. We've got the 2 judges.
Get some space.
Yep. And we've even got an AC/DC at the tie.
Do you think they should
Right.
possibly be
Well,
along
then they're
there?
going to be hidden from these guys.
Oh.
Yeah. Right.
Air guitar.
Ready? On Sophie's going to play the song. Ready? Ready to go? Please hold your guitars. We can curve. The judges are going to concur. They're going to decide who the winner is.
We can't do this in secret, can we?
Do you want to shortlist it to 2?
I reckon Yves Saint Laurent has definitely got to be one of the finalists. Yeah,
Saint Laurent.
leading the charge.
Okay, finalist, our new finalist. We're going to have a show here.
I say this gentleman, I'd love to say my dad, but I thought his effort was just subpar. This gentleman right here.
Right.
Yes.
Can we cue it again? Now they're really under pressure. Thank you, team. Thank you. You did well.
Let's go. I'll join in.
Don't give up your day job. Hey. Right. Here we go.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, thank you guys.
Are we going to leave it to the judges, or are we going to have a show of hands?
Oh, show of hands.
All right.
Ball. Who's ball? Who's at the ball? With here. The ball wins.
Well, they treated the stage, you guys can't tell, they spilled drinks, they're wreaking everything, they treated the stage like rock
Typical
stars.
stage. Right, we've got to crack into the rest of the event.
Yes.
Yes, you can keep it.
I've got to say, I did a talk at the Havelock North Club today. It wasn't like this.
Expect the unexpected is what I say.
All right, so what are we round 4?
Yep.
Round 5.
Okay.
Yeah, let's just boom to round 5. Okay.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is you start.
Yep, okay. So these ones are relatively short. Can you tell the audience to calm down now, please? Judges?
All good.
You've toured the world, you've performed globally. Who are some of the big people that you've met? You know, who are some of the stars, whether they're the musicians, actors, whatever? Who have you sort of been in and around?
Well, Ozzy Osbourne obviously recently died. I got to meet him. Last year I had dinner with Brian May and his family.
Stop it.
Wow. Did you discuss hair products together?
Yeah.
No, he was just fascinated that so many people actually want to learn how to play guitar. It was like, yeah, like every guy that's like at your concert, Brian. I mean, at the after party there, Jason Momoa was there.
He goes to every party though. When we see Jason Momoa, I want to
Do you
come around to
think
my
you'll come
party
around
today.
do you think you'll get him down to Hawke's Bay at all? He spends a lot of time in New Zealand.
Well,
Can you text him
I
now?
don't know. See if you can speak at the proper Unleashed.
Well,
you got his
okay,
number?
let's make that happen.
Ring him.
Really keen to make that happen. Nashville, why Nashville?
I first went there. A friend of mine. I was going to the US a lot, and a friend of mine, Rick Barker, who was Taylor Swift's first manager, said, "Look, you keep coming to the US, but you have not been to Nashville yet. Nashville's the music capital of the world. You should come to Nashville, or stay at my place, and I'll show you around." And then so I went there, and got to see the place, and thought it was pretty cool. And then while I was there, a friend of mine said, "Hey, do you want to meet Michael Wagner?" And Michael Wagner has sold 100 million records. He's one of the biggest producers in the world that worked with like Metallica, Ozzy Osbourne, Alice Cooper, Skid Row, Motley Crue, just the list goes on and on and on. And so I got to go to his studio, which was super cool. And while I was there, my friend says, "Hey, Charlie's actually in a band." And he said, "Oh, you should send me some stuff, you know, like I'll be interested to hear. So I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to say no to that. So I sent him stuff, and he said, I love your music. If you want to work together, then let me know. And I was like, well, I'm not sleeping on this. And then so we did that. We did a record. We made the Billboard charts with that record in the US. And when he retired, I actually bought his studio and put it in a shipping container and sent it here. So I've got stuff that recorded the Beatles at Abbey Road in my house now.
The after party is in Tookie Valley somewhere, isn't it?
And so I just ended up, getting a lot. And then the next producer we worked with, Nick Roskillinex, who worked with Foo Fighters, Deftones, Alice in Chains, and stuff like that. Went back, and then I just kept on having reasons to go back, and made a lot of friends. And I just, whenever I'm there, I get to hang out with a lot of cool people, and there's a lot of opportunities there. And at the end of the day, like they say, you've got to be where the fish are. If it's like, if you're in finance, you've got to be on Wall Street. If you're in tech, you have to be in Silicon Valley. Like, it's just the realities of it. And then so, I get to spend, a decent chunk of time there. And then so I get the best of both worlds of the peace and quiet of Hawke's Bay, where I just don't leave the house, and then I'll go
with his cat.
with my multiple cats, and then being in the US is fun because everything's so close, and then you get friends that are like, hey, come to Miami for a bender, and it's like, cool.
So speaking of being in the room with powerful and kind of influential people, I'm going to scoot to Anna now. In all of your dealings with powerful people, influential people, dangerous people, who was someone that was unexpectedly normal, and who was someone who perhaps gave you the biggest creeps and you were fearing for your life? Do you have those people in your experience?
First of all, I've got to say, it is really mean of you to make me answer this question after a literal rock star has been name-dropping Taylor Swift and Ozzy Osbourne. So I cannot compete with that whatsoever. I guess the thing is that...
You got a selfie with Obama. I mean, come on.
It wasn't a selfie, it was a
proper photo.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know, I guess I've met lots of people who we'd think of as, like evil or whatever, like the Iranian president, the one who threatened to wipe Israel off the earth and things like that. In conversation, or they're just chatting, they are disarmingly normal, which is quite weird, to think the multiple personas in a way, and to not fall for the charm, obviously, as well, to know that they're trying to charm you and make you think that they're normal and a normal human being. So I think just generally those people are surprising in that way.
Okay.
I don't think I've met anybody who's been creepy though so much.
Oh, that's good.
I have to think about that.
Okay, no,
Have
that's
you
good.
met Damon?
I'm getting really picked on tonight.
I'm curious to know
My
that.
wife is really upset now. And I've got a child here too. And her friends.
Yeah, so
Please.
leave him alone. Don't bully him, Charlie.
Best guy I've met tonight.
I'm keen to know, and very quickly though, so there's a lot going on the stage. You've got President Trump going to China, chatting to Xi Jinping. Then you've got, within days, Putin going there to chat with Xi Jinping. What do you think they talk about? What do you think they're actually... What's being cooked up there?
Yeah, well,
in
there was
your opinion?
actually last year when Putin was visiting, he's made 25 visits to Beijing.
25?
Yeah, since Xi Jinping has been the leader. Last year they were caught on a hot mic. Actually, Vladimir Putin was talking about immortality and how they could live forever, and if they just kept swapping out their organs, they could live to 150.
Oh,
yeah. So that's a
okay.
bit
So maybe they
scary.
were talking with the colossal guys that are reinventing,
Maybe.
bringing them all back.
Maybe.
And Peter Jackson's got something. Oh, we've got lots to talk about It's all very secret.
Yeah.
Really? Was that what they were talking about?
On the hot mic they were, but I mean now basically everybody is going to Beijing to suck up to Xi Jinping. He is suddenly the stable, reliable global statesman in the world compared to the other guy who is proving to be very erratic and unreliable and mercurial. So this year alone we've seen like the leaders of Ireland, Spain, Germany, the UAE, we've just had Trump, Putin, a whole bunch of people all going to Beijing to seek, Xi Jinping's favour. So he's been wanting us to take him seriously and view him as this responsible global leader for a long time. That was a pretty hard sell until Donald Trump came along, and then he's making Xi look good by comparison.
Absolutely amazing. What's the relationship between Modi and Xi Jinping? India and China.
Tricky. They have had a lot of historical bad blood. But again, Trump came in and slapped 50% tariffs on India for buying Russian oil. So suddenly, again, things got a lot cozier between Modi and Xi, because compared to the alternative, Xi Jinping was the better bet. So we're really seeing the world realigning right now and going through this weird phase of transition, and we don't know how it's going to turn out. In New Zealand, I think our government is just like ducking behind the parapet and hoping nobody notices us.
Like we always do.
Yeah, like we always do. And then maybe we'll stick our heads up again once the world moves on and decide which side we're on. So, yeah.
Charlie, do you have American mates who are pretty keen to look at New Zealand as a safe haven?
Anytime Trump does anything stupid, I get a lot of questions.
Yeah. Might become a good real estate agent then for
I mean, it's one of those things that a lot of people say it, but the reality is that the US is pretty awesome. I don't think they plan on leaving it for real.
All right. So
okay. Next round. Anna. Mainstream media has taken a real hammering over the last few years, and I think you've been part of that as well, and in the space that you're in now. What's been your observations of that, and where do you see the future? You've created your own platform now as well.
Yeah.
So what is the future of journalism before the state?
I think journalism across the world is under huge strain, right? Like, first of all, obviously the arrival of the internet in the early 2000s, the media adjusted, then Google and Facebook came along and took all the advertising, the media adjusted. Now we're seeing this polarization where people are watching or reading in their silos and not being exposed to the other side. At the same time as now everybody goes to ChatGPT for their news and doesn't actually click. So the business of the media is extremely difficult. But especially in a small country like New Zealand. So I came home in 2020 to be the editor of the Dominion Post, and silly me thought that I could single-handedly overhaul New Zealand journalism. I failed dismally and gave up after 2 years, I guess. But I think in New Zealand the environment is just so tough because we're so small. The economics of it are really, really hard, and New Zealanders often don't want to pay for their journalism, and if you don't pay anything, it's not surprising when it's not great. So I think here we're under a lot of strain, and we've seen the big media companies just basically resort to clickbait and crime headlines, and also those headlines that stoke division in order to get the clicks. So I think it is a pretty dire situation, but I also think that we need the media even more than ever, given everything that's happening in the world. And especially the thing I'm really concerned about at the moment is the way that this government is targeting journalists. We've seen at TVNZ, this campaign against Mikey Sherman, and a broader campaign with the minister threatening, the network as a whole. Same thing, David Seymour has been targeted Radio New Zealand and John Campbell. This is the kind of thing that autocrats do, right? They target journalists. They want you to be second-guessing yourself. They want you to self-censor so you don't know where the line is, and so you can continue to get access. Now, I think the media here, I think there are still a lot of really good journalists in New Zealand trying their hardest. And the thing is, journalists in New Zealand are paid really badly. They don't have to be doing this. They do it because they have this sense of mission. So I think there are good journalists trying to stand up and to report report fairly on what is happening, and to hold power to account, which is basically the mission of journalism. So over the next 6 months, as we head into the election, I think it's going to get quite crunchy, and we're going to see more of these efforts at intimidation. But I think that the journalists will not cow to power and continue to try to shine a light on what's happening in these situations. But my exhortation to you is, if you want to read good quality media and you're able to, pay for it. Donate if you can, or do what you can, because that's what is the fundamental problem there with the economics of journalism in New Zealand.
Yeah, absolutely. Moving to you, Charlie, thinking about with what Anna was saying about how the traditional roadmap for journalism has completely changed in terms of your traditional, the traditional roadmaps for business. It's been very, very different for you. You kind of did the experimental route, just have a crack at the internet and doing things online. Was there anyone back in the day that kind of helped you do that, or mentored you through that?
Well, I mean, first of all, you're like, I am really lucky because I'm in like the last generation that got to experience the world without the internet and then with the internet. And, the advantage that I did have is the fact that, as I'm an early teenager, it's like, information, I can go out there and I don't have to pay for this. I can find a way to get it illegally, and then so... it's one of those things that, like, as you go out and, that's literally how I used to go and get all the information. I'd just be, like, learning because I couldn't afford it. And then one day I came up and I heard about this guy called Ryan Levesque, and he was a neuroscientist that had gone into online marketing, and he put out this course, and it was like $2,000 US, and it was super expensive. But I had learned enough from the other courses that I could have bought that. And I went to go and download it, and his team had done such a great job, and they had wiped it off this website that you could go and get all these dodgy downloads from. And thank God that this team had done that, because I bought the course and implemented it, read his book, implemented it so much, he actually wrote about me in his second book. And he became a great friend of mine and a great mentor. And then so from there, I completely flipped the script, and then I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on business masterminds, business events, business education. And then so I think that, the best part about where we live today is the fact that, if you want information, everything's available to you. As far as education, the biggest thing that people miss is the application of it. And what I've experienced time and time again is becoming more and more of the things. People used to hold back their information and then get you in behind a paywall. That no longer happens. If someone has a mastermind and it costs like $20,000, $30,000 to be in that room, if it's like another mentor of mine said, if they have a book, it's all going to be in the book. The problem is, people spend $30 on a book, and they're going to do $30 worth of implementation. People spend $30,000 to be in a room and hear the guy say the same things in the book. All of a sudden, they start taking action. So I've definitely spent a lot of money on, it's the best investment you can make is within yourself.
Absolutely. I close off with that.
Right, we're moving on to
round
seven, which actually is a relevant point, best of you. And getting back to you, Charlie, whether on stage or in the studio running guitar mastery, what does Charlie look best? What is it? What are you at your best?
I think we saw it when he came.
Creativity. What is it? What is it that's...
I don't know. I mean, I just.
Were you dogged? Were you dogged? Were you, what was it that, really relentless and wanting to succeed based on the fact that you had $2 whatever?
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess the thing is that, like, what I'm willing to do that I find that most people aren't is just to do an unreasonable amount of work without a result, knowing that there's
3
a
years.
big lagging indicator to get it, and then so I think that a lot of people get on the right path in life of what they want, but they just give up, like you, for instance. If you gave up now, you ain't going to do shit, right? But you keep going at the pace that you are, right? Then you're very likely going to achieve everything that you want to achieve. And a lot of people give up far too early because they don't see any result. But the thing is, I mean, everything that I've achieved in my life has just come from an unreasonable amount of time and effort.
What's your Achilles heel?
I to be honest, probably just like I just have too much drive. I guess I don't know. Like it's like I'm not going to stop until I achieve everything I want. I've got big dreams, and it's one of those things.
And what are those dreams? Just quickly, what is that next stage for you?
I mean, this is some of the stuff is never like spoken about publicly, but
it's okay.
One of the
We're not going to
Chatham House rules. We'll all invest in as well, shall we?
It's one of those things that obviously with a company like mine, we can get quite large valuations, and one goal of mine is to exit a certain amount of through that, and then so. I have clear financial goals as well as my friend and producer Nick Skillenex that we worked with, the guy who done Foo Fighters, Alice in Chains stuff I mentioned before. We're working with him again later this year, and then so I really love playing music. I love playing in my band. I love the production of it, and then within the company goals, it's really interesting because I think so many people within a company. When they start a company, just try to just sell something that's not very good. And what I found through, especially I've been listening to Tony Robbins since I was 11, and I had the privilege of actually meeting him a couple of times recently. And I've done a lot of his programs over the past, his events over the past year. I did 8 of his events in 8 months. It was a lot of traveling. And, one of the things that that he said is just, winning in business is easy. You just give more to the marketplace than anybody else can reasonably expect, and then you will win. And then so, I've really taken that to heart, and then I already knew exactly what we could deliver inside a guitar mastery method, but I've just gone like tenfold with that, and then now I believe we've created the absolute best product that has ever existed as far as guitar education, and then we're just about to start putting that out and marketing it to the world. So, I've got business goals, I've got goals with with my music, and Peter Diamandis, who's part of the Colossal thing and stuff like that. He was at an event, and living really long would be cool.
Vladimir Putin's got some tips for you.
Hook me up his number, we'll swap.
Clean up your act.
Okay, Anna, I'm going to sling this one to you. You've written stories that have reached all over the world, global audiences. You've got a book that's been translated into 24 languages. Is that your Everest, or what are your goals? What's your ultimate?
Yeah, it's funny because now I feel like I am not ambitious really at all. I think, in talking about drive, like Charlie was just saying, I think that I was just hustling for 30 years. I was a striver. I always wanted to have the next job. I worked crazy hours at the expense of lots of other areas of my life. And it took me till I was kind of like 47 or so to realise that there was actually more to life than working. So I'm going I'm going in the opposite direction, I think. And then now, thinking, especially in February this year, I was made redundant from the Washington Post. In a single day, they laid off.
Was that the Jeff Bezos?
That was the Jeff Bezos thing. 375 journalists laid off in a single day. adios to him. I didn't want to work for him anymore anyway. But so that like forced this rethinking and what am I going to do? I just turned 50 and how am I going to live the next chapter of my career? So that's why, I started this newsletter on Substack and just thinking about creating the kind of life and doing the kind of work that is really meaningful for me, and also leaving space in my life for all the other things. So
running. So you took up running.
I took up running.
Yeah, okay.
I did.
We'll touch on that next.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Won't mention the running. But just like investing in my friendships and having time, like I was away for so long and not being present for so many family occasions and things. So being a more well-rounded person is what I'm doing, which apparently a lot of people already knew, but it took me until middle age to figure out that you were supposed to live a balanced life.
Well, you've pretty much answered the next question then, because it is around how do you look after yourself mentally and physically, and maybe not necessarily, well now, and it is the marathon running and stuff that you do, but you are probably putting your life at risk a lot in some of the situations you got yourself into to cover things, to cover some of these big stories around the world. How did that, how did you look after yourself in those highly stressful times?
Chardonnay.
Never Chardonnay.
Oh,
Rosé.
So I had a son. I was briefly married to an Iraqi pop star. That's a whole nother story. Who knew it didn't?
Charlie!
Who knew it didn't work out? But I've got a son, a very gorgeous son as a result. So after I had my son and I was a single mum, that changed my risk calculus quite a lot. So I wasn't doing such crazy things after that. But I think, the thing I've learned now is, my mum and dad were members of the Hawke's Bay Marathon Clinic, so I actually ran my first half marathon when I was 11 in Hastings, and then I just did one a decade until I was 47. Last year I did my first marathon, and this year I ran the Tarawera 50K to celebrate turning 50, and now I'm done.
Wow.
Now I'm so done. But I think it's that space. It's the mental space, and for some people that might be painting, for some people that might be music. It's doing something where I'm not looking at a screen and where I have space for my mind to wander. So when I'm running in the hills around Wellington, that's when I think I come up with good ideas or process things and stuff. So that's a really good mental health and physical health thing.
And Charlie, with you, I was actually in Hawthorne Cafe the other day and talking to one of your neighbours, and she said you've just put in a basketball court or a half court or something. So is that you and your well-being? Is that the sort of things that get you away from the screen and the like?
One of my first dream. You probably can't tell now. I used to shave my head. My first dream was to play in the NBA. And I had Paul Hanare, who was coach of the Tall Blacks, was a mentor of mine. And I had a coach, and he pushed me a little too hard. He said, "What do you want to do?" I said, "I want to play in the NBA." And then he said, "Okay, well, I can't help you get there, but I can push you as hard as I can, and when you're ready, I can, hand you off." And I was like, "Okay, cool." I was, playing in the rep teams and trialing for like the New Zealand under 16 team and stuff at the time when I was like 12, and then this guy with the best of intentions just pushed me too hard. He'd have me like, on the side of the court doing press-ups and stuff like that while everyone else was like, just playing basketball, which is the thing that gave me the most joy. And then I actually just gave it up. One day I was like looking at the basketball court, I was like looking at the bike shed, and I had to like bike, like half an hour home, and I was like, I'm just going to go to the bike. That day, basketball coach happened to be out on road patrol, which thank you, and then he said to me, he's like, "Charlie, what are you doing? Like, you're the captain of the team. You get back in. What are you, And everybody else used to say, "Oh, I've just got something to do," and then so I said to him, "I've just got something to do," and he's like, "I'm not being too hard on you, am I? Because the last thing I want you to do is to give up." And I just said, "No, I've just got something to do," and then I biked home. And then I stopped playing basketball. That's when I started playing guitar. But then fast forward to when I'm 20, my friends said, "Oh, like, we're starting a social basketball team, you should join. And I was like, oh, I'm really good. And they were like, yeah, I'm really good too. And then it turns out they were not really good. But for instance, then I started playing again. Then I started to go through to trainings and stuff like that with some of the Hawks and trialed for the Hawks. And then it was kind of in this point where I was like, well, do I let go of the music thing and try and go back there? And then I realized it's a little bit too late. But the one thing that it did do was at one point, I got home from practice and I saw this video on YouTube. You know when there's pop up on the side, and it was a guy doing basketball drills, and it said, "When did you give up on your dream?" And I clicked it and I watched it, and it just felt like the guy was just talking directly to me. And I've tried to go back and find the video, and I just can't find it. But the guy said, "When was the exact moment? When was the split second where you decided that all of the work, all the dedication, everything you'd ever put into it didn't matter anymore, and you just threw it all away?" And I was taken back to that moment where I was outside with my bike, and my basketball coach says, "Are you coming back inside, or are you leaving?" And that was the moment I threw all of that away, and I put all that drive into guitar. And I cried, because I realized at that point what I had given up. And then so I made a promise to myself in that moment that I would never give up on a dream again. And that's what's been the drive for me to achieve everything else I have. And then just like Jim Carrey says, be very specific on what you want. I don't care we're going over time because of my show now. One more line.
One more line, and then I've got a suggestion for you.
Just like Jim Carrey says, you should be 100% definitive on what you want to achieve and just be flexible in the outcome. So I told my band manager, who's like a big time band manager, dude, we got to get this band big enough that they allow me to play at the Celebrity All-Star Weekend in the NBA, you know, so it's nobody watches it, but I'll still get my NBA jersey with my name and number. So
very cool. Now I know that you love your cats, like multiple cats, and you know clearly you like to stay in shape. You know you've got your basketball court now and other things. There might be ladies in this room that like me have seen certain clips on Instagram where there's a particularly delicious man doing fitness with his cats. So you get your cats and you do the curls, and then you do the and just you could do that, Charlie. Just get your cat and you just do the curls, and then you do the lunges with the cats, and it's great. It's really
follow them on
good for your
Instagram
fitness.
because there are lots of cats.
I would watch it.
Right, we're on to the last round.
Oh, right.
We have gone over time a little bit. This is the theme of the last round, but I'm going to give it to the audience to ask the question, the specific question to each of them. Who would like to ask the first question?
Okay,
The guitar man.
Runner-up, Unleashed, Guitarist of the Year, here speaking. So, I'm going to break Damon's rules. I've got 3 questions. So, Charlie, Anna, and then also the gentleman that was speaking earlier before raising his 5-minute pitch. So, Charlie, who's your modern-day favourite Kiwi artist? And when I say modern-day, I'm not talking like Split Enz, Crowded House. I'm talking like, who's your favourite Kiwi artist now?
Yeah, Karen, yeah.
Karen, Anna, who is somebody that you haven't interviewed that you want to interview? And the young chap who
In front of you.
Is it right in front of you?
the young chap is very inspirational. Is one thing you didn't say to this whole room is how much money you need.
Yes, well
so
done.
really good 3 questions. So let's go to Charlie.
So please answer all 3 questions a bit methodically.
Charlie?
Great friends of mine gave us our first tour before we'd even released the song. I have to say Devil Skin. Great
Devil
people.
Skin.
Anna?
Kim Jong Un, obviously. I wrote a book about the guy. No, he's never given an interview. It's got to be me.
Right, and Austin, show me the money. Come on. Stand up. No. You need to stand up and give the pitch.
Tell us.
Or into the microphone.
It's give or take around like $10,000. So.
All right. Good to know.
That's doable. Right, cool. Thank you. Right, next person for a question. Audrey.
Nice.
Bezos first bought the Washington Post, I was working in journalism and I sort of saw him as a bit of a white knight. And he would talk about not interfering with the editorial function of the newspaper. Did you see that change as he became more politically aligned with Trump? Did you see any other changes?
Yeah, thank you, Audrey. The first 12 years or something were great. He didn't interfere at all. He invested loads of money, especially in the engineering side, so everything just worked better. Just gave money to the news side with no questions asked. It was the ideal, benign billionaire owner. But all of that changed in October 2024. So in American journalism, there's a tradition of a newspaper endorsing a presidential candidate. And I think there's a good argument to be made in this low trust environment why newspapers shouldn't do that. But there was no conversation about it. He all of a sudden just nixed the Washington Post endorsement of Kamala Harris. And that caused a lot of concern, turned a lot of people off the Washington Post. 300,000 subscribers cancelled their subscriptions that week alone. And then in January the next year, once Trump had won office but not yet taken it, he declared that the editorial page would be devoted only to libertarian ideas. So these two things led to these huge exoduses of subscribers, but also all the stars, all the Pulitzer Prize winners, the brand names journalists. And Jeff Bezos could have totally fixed those self-inflicted wounds without even noticing, but he didn't. He doubled down and that, gutted the paper. And so all I can think from this is that he wants to destroy the Washington Post as an institution and thereby do a favour for his mate now in the White House. So this is devastating. I don't want to sound too airy-fairy and self-important, but journalism plays a really important part in a democracy and holding power to account. And it's no good if you only have one newspaper that's able to do that anymore. So we all thrive on the competition. So I think it's great to have still some competition in New Zealand.
Great question. Thank you.
All right, another question. Anna, just John right behind you.
Anna, is free speech dead and in its last throes, or are we at a point where it's actually a good time for free speech? It appears to be being squashed, but is there hope in terms of reality engineering, I'll call it, through social media, through people not really being able to speak their minds, through fear of being ostracised, killed, jailed, or just branded outside of what is polite society?
That's a really, really great question. I think free speech is not dead. Not in New Zealand. We still have free speech, but we should guard that and defend that really, really strongly. That is something precious that we need to defend at all costs, right? Yeah. Because we have seen what happens in other countries when free speech or dissent or free media is quashed. You get these autocracies. Look at all the autocracies dominate the world more than democracies these days. So we should be defending that. Cancel culture is a real thing. I do find it quite bizarre given this government, and this is not a political statement, just an observation, but the government has been going on about all this anti-woke stuff and this kind of thing, and adopting a lot of similar anti-DEI things like the Trump administration is doing, and they have basically just embarked on this cancel culture campaign against a wahine Māori journalist who was doing a good job. So I think we really do need to defend free speech and stand up for it, because as we've seen elsewhere, it doesn't take much to erode it.
A quick one for Charlie. How do you feel about your instrument? And can you tell us a little bit about it, that guitar? Just a little word. Because that's not a normal, that's a guitar, that's a guitar and a half.
Thank you.
It's pretty snazzy.
This right here, me and my guitar tech Andy went into Gibson Garage in Nashville and basically just said, we don't care what the finish is, we're just going to keep playing guitar so we find the best one in the building. And so I got this, and then took it back to the studio, and the producer was like, wow, this is awesome. And then Damon Johnson from Lynyrd Skynyrd came in, and he played it, and he was like, I have a lot of Les Pauls. This might be the best Les Paul that I've ever played. So that's a pretty good endorsement.
Wow. I have a really quick question for you. quick question. So when you were learning to play guitar, was there one like riff or like that you played over and over and over again that made your mum and dad lose their minds and everyone else that was listening while you were practicing? Like, what was it?
Well, my dad is here, so.
Where's his dad? You his dad? Oh, what was the thing that he kept playing over and over again that just annoyed you?
What did I play over and over? What's that? Crazy Train.
It would have been smoke in the water or something. Honestly, I had a boyfriend that was learning guitar and that's what he played over.
Is it another question or are we finishing up? One more question. Just yeah.
If you go back in time to one concert, what's the one and why?
Great question.
One that I watched or one that I performed?
The one that you wished you could have been at and why?
Oh, go back in time. I mean, everyone was cliche and says Woodstock. I've seen a lot of great concerts, but I never got to see Zeppelin play. If I could see Zeppelin like at the peak of power.
At Madison.
Anna, you?
Yeah. Taylor Swift.
I mean, The Cure.
Oh,
Cure, there you go.
Stop it. I'm a girl of the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolute.
Okay, one last question, is there? No? Yep. Tony?
What was North Korea like? What were your first impressions arriving there, and do the people seem like no one knows anything about it? Like, are the people downtrodden or fearful?
Yeah, I mean, it is so much weirder than you could imagine, but also so much more normal as well, because the ordinary people, right, are just lining up at the bus stop, waiting to catch the bus to work, which takes a really long time because all the buses are broken. But, just living normal lives amid this crazy fake city where, they now have these apartment towers in Pyongyang that are 70 stories high. So it looks really flash. They call it Pyonghattan. But it's a Potemkin village. So like in every other city in the world, the most expensive apartments are on the top floors, right, with the best views. Not in North Korea, because there's no electricity to make the elevators work. So nobody wants to be on the 50th floor of the building and carry your groceries up the stairs. So the most prestigious apartments are 4th floor and below. So it's this, you have to be second guessing all the time, is what you're seeing real? But I think the thing that really struck me is yes, it's extremely poor, but there are a lot of places in the world that are poor. But it was the fact that when I was on the streets, and especially in those early days when very few foreigners were going to North Korea, you'd think that people would notice me or I would be an oddity or something like that. But people were really keeping their eyes down, walking. Nobody looked at me or anything. They were so... All I could glean from it was that it was too dangerous to even make eye contact with me for risk that I would say hello or something like that would put them in danger. So it's a really, really... The repression is tangible there. That's a cheerful note to
Right. We are closing up for the night. Just a few thanks. The event takes a lot of effort from a lot of people to pull together. We want to continue these on, but I'd really like to thank our sponsors, all the catering team, the people that welcome you when you come through. Yvonne, who does a great, is my sidekick. Just a few thanks. But a huge thanks to everybody for making this happen. Yes. We've got a couple of gifts for the guests. So big show of hands for our two guests, Charlie and Anna. So we got some cat food for Charlie's cats.
It's Chardonnay. We'll get you some Pinot Gris.
I love it.
Seriously, thank you. I mean, this is who's been to like all of the Profit Unleashed events? There's a few of you, and I think this one was one of the best. What amazing guests! Aren't they fantastic? Like, what an absolute guest. And Damon, thank you for all of your organising. Absolutely amazing. Again, and one last thing, my nephew Tom Allen is debuting at Lock for the Hurricanes. After 2 years of being on the squad, so what are we going to do when he runs out on the field? We're going to go, yay, Tom! When we watch the telly, so that's just a little plug.
Right, and one more plug for another up-and-coming fantastic athlete that we're all going to get behind. Hopefully we can get to the slide. Back. Get your cameras. Get your phones out. There's his contact details. Let's all get in behind Austin and support him for his road to the World Champs and also to America for future success. So awesome stuff. Thank you everybody for coming this evening.
Yes,
come on the bay.
Come on the bay. Grab a drink. Stick around if you feel like it. It'd be great to kind of have a little bit of a quality. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your week.